fundamentally, when you're setting goals, there's a lot of ways that you can do it wrong. Because a goal is like an ugly child of a dream, a desire, a possibility, an opportunity, and the whole SMART goals framework, which I have my own personal beefs with. But if you want to set goals correctly and not just have it be some faraway, wishy washy, I wish I had a six pack, the way to do it is to set a bet. So, when you think about betting, you can think about it in one of two ways. The first bet that you have is something like the stock market, where you're predicting future value. And the second bet is something like a casino, where you walk in, you place a bet, the money goes into the middle, and you've lost it, but then by good play, you can gain it back. So, sports betting or stock betting, fundamentally. The components of a bet line up very closely with the SMART goals, in the sense of a good goal, you've had a look at what it would take to achieve that goal. You know what the goal actually is. You have a deadline on it, you have a reason for doing it, and you've also got other people involved. Plus, it's a measurable outcome, it's achievable, it's realistic, yada yada yada. A bet, sports bet, is very similar in the sense of you have a defined race or thing that you're betting on, you have a defined outcome, you have many people who are taking the opposite side of your bet, so who are betting against you, you have real stakes, and you have to make a real assessment of the risk involved because there's no such thing as a sure thing. So it has all of the great components of a SMART goal, but you don't have all of these opportunities to get sidetracked and fail. Like, no one will bet that they wish they could get a six pack. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to bet. I wouldn't bet someone $1,000 that I'll try to get a six pack, because that's just like dumb and no one else would take that bet. But if you bet someone else, hey, here's $5,000, I bet you that I'll be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. Now things are starting to get interesting. And the reward is not the $5,000 that you would win. The reward is you become a millionaire. And so then you're actually attaching real monetary value to the goal that you want to achieve. And that does a lot of things. But for me personally, it also means that now that I've attached a monetary value to the goal, I can realistically assess like how much money I'm willing to spend towards achieving that goal. So something like, I'll bet you $5,000 that I'm going to be a millionaire. It's a good bet, but if the bet was for $1 million profit, personally, I would bet more than $5,000, right? Using more reasonable numbers, if instead of a $1 million payout, it was a $10,000 payment for a $500 bet, I'd be like, dude, no, I'll bet you more than 500. I'll bet you pretty much whatever you want, up to maybe like $3,000. So if it's $3,000, I reckon it's 50-50 shot. Here you go, mate. And then that's it. The logic that I have behind that is that then becomes your budget for achieving that goal. So no business is truly free to start. No endeavor is 100% free. You're going to have to dedicate time. You're going to have to dedicate money. You're going to have to dedicate blood, sweat, tears, all of that stuff. But time is money, in the sense of you could pay someone to do chores so that you have more time to dedicate to something else. Money is money. And all of the effort and stuff that you put in, that's up to you. And if the reward is big enough, then I trust that you'll do that anyway. So, once you're starting to think of it like, oh, okay, here's my budget for the next year for this goal, because achieving it would be worth far more than this budget. For me, it starts to give me the freedom to actually spend money towards the achievement of a goal. Who would have thought that? And it also forces me to put up like capital, which is something that I'm really not inclined to do. I'm much more of a saver and a shrew than I am someone who just throws money around willy nilly. And yeah, having, I suppose, that barrier and that buffer of this is money that I've already committed to the bet, so it's free, and then all that matters is I use it towards achieving the goal. I think, personally, that it's a far better system than goal setting, because with goal setting, there's no. You're not putting anything up if you fail at the goal. The number one thing that a lot of people say for fitness goals at the start of the new year is you pick a charity and an anti-charity. And if you achieve the goal of going to the gym X number of times, then you donate that money to a charity that you like. But if you fail at the goal, you donate the money to a charity that you don't like. So as an example, if you were really against the Republicans, you'd put whatever your bet is into an anti-charity, which would be like the, I don't know American politics, but the Republican charity. And then that gives you more motivation to complete the goal because you've already put that money aside. You've given it to a friend in an envelope and said, look, hold me accountable or else. And so you've got the negative outcome, the positive outcome. It is a bet with your friend, except they don't keep the money so they don't sabotage you. Seems sensible. You've got specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound bets. And I believe that it will just simplify the process for you anytime that you set a goal.